Right, you're all set.
All set, they go? Okay, I'll call this meeting of the Finance Committee to order. Clerk will call the roll.
All right, Chairman Wildenhain.
Here.
Council Moran. Council Rubio.
Here.
2 in attendance.
Okay, no public input, right?
No,
Council Rubio?
nothing on paper anyway.
Why don't we take 2 and 3 together since they're both just communications?
Item number 2, a communication from Tony Marie Roderick. Am I saying that correct? Oh, there we go. MBA Blackstone Valley Advocacy Center to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council requesting tax exemptions for 727 Central Avenue and 1202 Newport Avenue. I move to take this up.
Move to file the communication, do both,
Okay.
they're just communications, so let's file both the communications, then we'll take it up.
All right, and item number 3, a communication from Robert W. Burns, tax assessor to Mark J. Wildenhain, Chair, Finance Committee. Response tax exemption request 727 Central Avenue and 1202 Newport Avenue. I move to file both communications.
It's been moved by Council Rubio, second by Council Moran, that we file both communications regarding the request tax exemption for 727 Central Avenue and then 102 Newport Avenue. All those in favor?
Aye.
I don't need a roll call for that. All right, Ms. Roderick, I can't stand this thing because now I lost the page that I had here. How do you put that back? I got your letter. We've also got the other letter from Director Burns. And so if you want to give us a brief overview of what your agency does, I'd be more than happy for the committee to hear it.
Sure. I also brought some pamphlets to leave with you as well.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
The Blackstone Valley Advocacy Center started in 1987 in Central Falls. We provide services to victims of sexual and domestic violence. We are the largest member agency of the Rhode Island Coalition Against Domestic Violence, a state coalition. We provide residential services. Our advocates are in the Garrity Court Building providing court advocacy. We also provide community services and education. Our catchment areas are currently Providence County and Northern Rhode Island, although we have several statewide programs.
Mhm.
But we have always worked, we've been working with Pawtucket and Central Falls since 1987.
What is your main source of revenue? How do you?
Federal funds,
Federal
about
funds,
85%, yes.
Okay. It's too low. Does any of the committee have any questions for Ms. Ryder?
I read there before, when you were in Central Falls before, was it you were
Yes.
tax exempt there too?
Yes,
How long?
over 25 years.
Okay.
I came on about 8 years ago, and we own 3 buildings in Central Falls, which currently serve as emergency shelter for victims. And we moved to 727 Central Avenue, and we purchased the building in 2023. We moved in this summer.
So you wanted to be tax exempt, like right from the start when you came into Pawtucket, correct?
Yes,
There's just been a delay.
yes,
But mostly the space that you're going to be using is for office space, for
Office.
administrators.
and some case management. There's no residential services. We have a very secure, we added a large security system to the building.
Yep.
You have to be let in or buzzed in, and our services are very confidential, and so it's by appointment only. We do provide individual counseling in the building and support groups in the evening.
Okay.
How many employees in the building?
In that building, right now we have 9, but as a whole, as an agency, we have 42.
Mrs. Roderick, I'm familiar with your organization. I think it's fantastic what the work you've done for my time at Ralph J. Holding Community Center way back when. I guess my question for you is permits, licenses, everything up to date
Yes,
to code? Fire has inspected everything. We're
yes.
good on that end.
We receive quarterly fire inspections through Admiral Fire.
And then your 501c3 is in good standing.
Yes, state and federal.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that we've had in the past. People will come and ask for it, but then they don't have the state certification or the federal certification, so we send them that way to get it done. The only concern that I have with your issue is the letter we got from Director Burns that 6 months of prorated taxes might still be assessed on PCU. So I kind of want that issue out of the way before we end up dealing with this issue. And I think one of the other things was, as Councilor Rubio just alluded to, that I'd like you to, if you have up-to-date certification from zoning in the fire department from on the Witcher Post, I'd like you to also provide that with the committee, because we have been seeing that with some other 501(c)(3)s coming in, and they'll say they're for nonprofit, and yet we find out they're making $120,000. They could be making as much as $120,000 revenue off of their clientele. And that, it's one of the things that concerned myself and my colleagues on the thing was a lot of the work that they did. They bought a rundown 3 tenement, and then they turned around and they did a lot of unpermitted work that we weren't aware of, and we wanted to make sure that everything is up to code. So we sent them off to make sure that they got their certifications in good standing before they come back to us. So that's kind of the lead that we're taking with all of these places, and believe me. I also had another question, I think for the administration to find out, is how many 501(c)(3)s that we actually have operating in the city? Because we've had a number of these over the years, and it just hit me today when I went for breakfast. I walked by a place that used to be a laundromat, it's now a church. And, you know, we're getting into the I want to know if we're getting into the realm of a lot of places that are just getting certification so that they avoid the taxes, and somebody's going to pick up those taxes when, and unfortunately gets put on the back of the taxpayers. And that's kind of what we want to avoid. So that would be one of the questions that I'm going to ask of the administration, to get me the numbers for the committee so that we can review it. Not that it's going to affect yours. Again, I want to get clarification on when the place was sold to you, and if there were prorated taxes that are owed to the city, then they should be collected first before we start to have this type of discussion. And I imagine that can get cleared up really early, really quick with a discussion with a lawyer who handled your closing and stuff. So
We've been tracking him down. Also, would like to just note that we are funded by the Violence Against Women Act and the Victims of Crime Act funding, and we are not allowed to charge any service for any services we provide. We are truly a nonprofit. We don't have any realm of our programming that charges for any service.
okay.
And I guess one more question on my end.
Go
Do you have to file the Form 990 on a yearly
Every,
basis?
yes,
And it's been up to date?
yes.
Filed. Is there any way we could get some sort of like
Absolutely.
good standing of that as well?
Mhm.
Thank you.
So I'd like to revisit this. This is what, April 6th, April 9th, April 9th. So I'd like to give you and the administration time to get the information they need and get the information you need. So, and again, we'll deal with all the issues after we get this one cleared up. But I think maybe the second meeting in May. Is that too far out? Well, I know it's budget too, but
No, it's because this has to go to the General Assembly. Second meeting in May.
Can we do first meeting?
We need to do it.
Or do we have to do it sooner than that?
Well, can we?
The sooner you do it, the better the opportunity they have to get this thing in. So,
I'm not until we get that tax thing done. I want the tax thing.
Can you get the
I got 6
information
months worth of
for the
taxes
second
I owe.
meeting within 2 weeks? Could we get it in 2 weeks? I don't know.
Yes, most of it I have, except for the zoning stuff. which
Okay.
I will ask my facilities person to grab.
So then, are we talking about the first week of May then?
Or maybe, can we do second meeting in April?
No,
You can
he
do
said
it.
the second week.
It
He said
is
second
worse.
week's too
what's
late.
that?
Okay, second week is too late. First week is too late?
Of,
May.
no, the first meeting in May is, when's the first?
So what did
meeting?
you say, what's gonna go to the General Assembly?
This has to go through a bill. all you're doing here.
Is approving it and then
No,
sending
no,
it to them?
no, you're not approving anything. You're passing a resolution in support of the legislation. They have to get legislation introduced. Now, they can be working on that now. You don't have to wait for this. In fact, at this time of year, I advise people not to wait. I advise to do both. Normally, I would say, come here, get this done, and then put in the legislation. But when you get into April, I tell people, do them both now. So go find a rep and a senator, maybe whoever represents where your facility is. Ask them to put this in, tell them that it's going before the council for a resolution of support. But they're not going to, the legislature's not going to do anything until they get the resolution from us.
Yep.
So if we wait till the second meeting in May, that's really pushing.
Okay.
I-
I noticed there was also some discussion about the tax sales. So this isn't, we're not gonna have to worry about this going back on the list in between the time frame. So we don't, that's one aspect that I don't think they have to worry about. So, but like the clerk said, I would get somebody to sponsor your legislation for you and then get a hold of your lawyer that did your closing so that we can turn around and in turn get the information that we need and then get the check cut to us. That'll make the pain on your side a lot easier versus what we're gonna end up having to go through. And that's really all I have. So why don't we tentatively set it for the first meeting in May to have it back here in front of us?
Okay.
And you can work with the clerk's office between now and then on the resolution. If you get, you gotta get a state senator or a rep to.
No, the resolution is easy. I can do I'll handle the resolution. I can draft the legislation. I can work with them to draft the legislation. You just got to get a rep and a senator to have it introduced.
Okay.
And just let them know that you're working with the council to get a resolution and support for this. But in the meantime, you want to get this thing moving.
Okay.
All right.
And because I've seen a lot of times it doesn't go until May, the end of May, it doesn't get done that year.
So I'm going to send you tomorrow our last 990, our 501. I brought with me the 501c3 and the state tax, but I'll send it in one
Okay.
email. And then we need to gather our zoning permits.
Not permits, just even if they do an inspection in, what do they call it? A thing of occupancy, a letter of occupancy, which
Okay.
if you got it at time of the sale, you know, that's fine too. But that's something that I'm looking for, as well as any correspondence you got from the fire marshal that indicates that you're up to
Yeah.
code on all the sprinklers.
I think it's a certificate of occupancy.
Yeah.
And I think we have that already, so we can.
If you do, yeah, you can look it up. You can send that along with the other information, send it to the clerk, and then the clerk can turn around and in turn send it to the rest of the committee.
Okay.
Do any of you directors have anything that you'd like to add before we
know what
adjourn?
we're doing.
Huh?
We know what we are doing.
Okay, all right. So that is the crux of it. When I read through it, I wanted to make sure that the city's entitled to what they're entitled to.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to a bank. And if we're owed money by them, I want to see us get that money and then we'll stop talking about what we're gonna do. By the way, Director Burns says, as Council Rubio said, it's the program, since you have your state and federal thing, he thinks it's a wonderful program, highly recommended it, but had some concerns. So we just want to address those concerns. Once we have them out of the way, it should be smooth sailing, all right?
Thank you, I certainly appreciate it.
No
Thank you for
problem.
coming.
No further
Can I
business?
leave this here?
Yeah,
Sure. Yep. No further business before the, I was gonna say purchasing board, finance committee. All motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
All right, Sharon.
Chair. It's on green
Middle.
now, I believe. I see green, right?
So if I hit this, will it turn red?
Yeah.
Dante, can you give us? Or?
Hello?
Great, thank you.
All right. All right, I call to order of the Committee on Claims and Pending Suits at 6:12.
Yes,
Rick,
yeah.
will you call the order, please?
Chairman Rubio,
Here,
Council Russo.
Here.
Council Moreno.
Here.
3 in attendance.
any public input?
No, not for me.
Online?
Yeah, nobody on.
Here,
No, we have a couple of people. We have,
speaking on claims?
yes,
Oh,
we have Mr. Duarte and we have Mr. Sanchez.
all right. Counselor Arujo, could you please take number 2?
Okay, did you want me to go in order, or did you want me to take?
You want to go back and, yes.
You can take the 2 people. over
Yes,
here.
I'm sorry, the claims that are here, please.
Okay, so that's.
Duarte,
Sanchez.
Mrs. Duarte, and Mr. Sanchez.
See, oh, all right, great, okay, good. Okay. Item number 2, vehicle claims. I'd like to take up the claim of, how do you pronounce that? Mayada, thank you,
Yes.
Mayada Cardoso Dua, for a pothole in the amount of $337.44. My motion is to take up.
Second.
We move to take this up. Mrs. Duarte? You have to be- No, okay. Mrs. Duarte, how are you?
Good, India.
Good, good. Any questions from our counselors?
Yeah, well, it seems pretty straightforward.
Correct.
Per the field inspection, on February 27th, DPW was contacted on a second shift by the Pawtucket Police Department in reference to a large pothole on Pearl Street at Beach Street. Yeah, I think it was filled with cold patch and it will be permanent hot patch, so I'm sorry, I read the wrong one, my apologies. I got this one. I put the wrong paper up, my apologies.
And that's, Chris, do you have?
Same.
All right, field inspection was done. There was a pothole at this address. DPW filled it on 221 with a temporary cold patch. And so, yeah, there was a pothole there. So,
Yeah,
Chris,
when
you
we
have
were
anything?
dispatched out there after we received the claim, we went out there and put temporary cold patch because the plants were closed at that time. Since then, it's been a permanent patch with the hot mix.
and it was, the claim was put in a good time frame within the 7 days. The only thing is it's above our max that we give, so my motion would be to approve at a $300 level.
Do we have a second?
Yes, second.
All right, so motion is to approve for the amount of
300.
300. Second by Counselor Moreno. Rick, will you call the roll, please?
Chairman Rubio, Council Russo.
Yes.
Council Moreno.
Yes.
3-0.
Can we explain? So there's a maximum that we pay on a pothole claim, which is $300, a little short of your $337, but we approved for the $300. And the clerk will get back to her, right?
Yep. Council will vote on it tonight, assuming they approve it, which they always do. We'll send you a letter tomorrow or Friday, and with a release that you'll have to sign. Once you sign the release, you get it back to us, and the law department will cut you a check.
Do you have any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can go. Thank you.
Want me to
Thank you.
continue? You want me to-
Next, Counselor Moreno, you wanna
Yes.
take this one up, please?
Yes, I would like to move to take up the claim of Savit Sanchez. His claim is for the amounts of $402.19 and $536.33.
Okay.
Maybe just to get through this quickly.
You second?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Sanchez, how are you? Good, good. Chris, do you have any update on this?
Just what, mentioned, we were contacted by, the police department. We dispatched out there that night. We put, temporary coal patch due to the timing. Same thing, the plants weren't open. Since then, we put the, hot mix, permanent repairs to this pothole.
Do you have any questions?
I don't have anything. It seems as if it was filed on time also, so I would be comfortable. Moving to approve the claim at the cap of 300.
I will second that.
Motion is to approve for the amount of 300, Sanchez. Clerk, will you call the order, please?
Councilor Rubio,
Yes.
Councilor Ruzo.
Yes.
Councilor Moreno.
Yes.
3-0.
So as we explained before, there's a maximum cap that we grant for potholes, which is $300. So that's what, as long as the council approves that in the next round, which they usually do, the clerk will get in touch with you and we see $300 for the claim.
We'll send you a letter. We still send them by regular mail, correct?
Yeah, I'll send them on vacation.
Yeah, and then there'll be a release form for you to sign. When you sign the release form, send it back and get the law department, will cut you a check.
You have my right address?
We have the address that you gave us, so.
We have,
Making sure.
Would you like
Can
to
make
co-
mistakes.
Would you like to confirm your address, sir?
Please.
What is it?
3 Saunders Street, Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
We have
Um,
4
you said
Saunders.
3,
We have 4 Saunders Street.
3 Saunders Street.
3 Saunders.
and what's the apartment number?
14.
14?
Could we make a note of that, please? Do you have 3?
Okay,
Anything else, sir?
I'm also
Thank you. You're all
thank
set.
you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good night.
You too. Okay, continuing with item number 2,
Please.
claim for Dominguez Bates in the amount of $578.76 for vehicle damage. Motion is to take it up, sir.
Motion is to take up Dominguez Bates for the amount of $578.76. The claimant is not here. Is that correct?
Yes.
Any questions for who's representing?
So
It wouldn't be an officer here for that, right? Okay, all right.
if I
Do you
may,
have any
so,
questions?
yes, so Council Milas, what do you, it looks like it was just the fact that they were, Dominguez Bates was parked on the street wearing a snow ban. I know that the city parking ban, and I know the city usually, we really do a decent job of letting people know when there is a parking ban. Do you have any insight on, your feelings towards this claim? Based on what what you're reading?
Give me one moment. Chris, any question that the city was
I don't think
notified
that
of?
was forward to our department, so I don't have no,
field inspection on this one?
no, so that was the one that wasn't,
That's the
I think it went
parking
right to
ban,
the police.
so- Yep.
I mean, I agree with Councilor Ruzo. We give all types of notice that there's a parking ban. The parking ban is the parking ban.
And Council Miles, it was mentioned something about, where when it's towed, it's not a city liability.
Is that?
What's that?
Said there's a report from the police department.
And it said it should be noted, that the tow companies operate independently from the police department. And so all those fees are owed to them, not to the city, correct? When it comes to a tow of a motor vehicle?
Yeah, I see this as a two-part claim. One, the cost of the tow, because they claim there was improper notice. And secondly, damages that were sustained apparently as a result of the vehicle itself being towed. I am not convinced that Pawtucket did not give adequate notice to the public that there was a parking ban in effect. So I don't see where the city acted in a negligent manner at all. And as far as the damage to the vehicle, that would be between her and the tow company. If they did in fact cause damage, then I assume they're probably insured for that. We didn't do the tow, so I don't see how we could be deemed negligence for the damage caused by a third party. So I just don't see culpability on the part of the city.
So in these instances, do we refer them, would we refer them back to,
The property
the
damage
third
side of it, I
party?
would refer to the tow company, whoever that might have been.
Yep.
Because they're the ones, if in fact they
They're-
caused the
of
damage,
course.
then I would say it should go through them and their insurance company.
Okay.
So if I may I
Yes.
make a motion? I would
Absolutely.
like to make a motion to deny and send and refer to the tow company for the vehicle damage part of this claim.
Second.
We have a motion to deny and refer to the towing company for the vehicle damage.
So I think that explains that we're denying the city in the damage, but we're referring the damage part to the tow company.
Correct. Rick, will you call an order, please?
Council Rubio, Council Russo.
Yes.
Council Moreno.
Yes.
3-0.
All right, next up is a vehicle claim for Elizabeth Cox in the amounts of $222.97 and $359.10. I move to take it up.
Second.
With the last one, I guess. Yeah.
All right, Elizabeth Cox. Chris, do you have anything on this? claim?
Same as the previous two. We were dispatched out there. There was a pothole. We put temporary coal patch in there due to the timing. Since then, it's been a permanent repair with hot mix.
And it seems it was all done in a timely manner. Any questions from our customers?
No, it's pretty straightforward.
I would,
Get a motion, please?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve in the amount of $222. $97.
I
All
will
right.
second that.
We have a motion to approve for $222.97. Motion by Councilor Moreno, second by Councilor Ruzo. Roll call, please.
Chairman Rubio.
Yes.
Council Russo.
Yes.
Council Moreno.
Yes.
3-0.
Okay, continuing item number 2, vehicle claims, a claim from Vicenza Cucinata,
Cucinato.
Cucinata,
Cucinato.
thank you. In the amount of $101.48 for a pothole. Motion is to take this up.
All right.
This was a Rhode Island Energy cut.
Yes.
We forward that to I think with a
Yeah, so based on what I'm reading, yes, they, it was a Rhode Island Energy cutout. So Chair, may I make a motion
Absolutely.
to, my motion would be to deny this claim and refer to Rhode Island Energy.
Motion is to deny and refer to Rhode Island Energy. Motion is made by Councilor Rujo, second by Councilor Moreno, to deny, claim, and refer to Rhode Island Energy. Clerk, please roll call.
Chairman Rubio.
Yes.
Council Arujo.
Yes.
Council Moreno.
Yes.
3-0.
All right, next up is Kenneth McL, who has a auto claim in the amount of $114.64. I move to take it up.
Second.
I see that this was filed on time and was filled by us.
Yep, same thing, due to the timing, there was a pothole there. We put temporary coal patch in there, and since the plant's been open, it's been permanent hot patched in the potholes.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve in the amount of $114.64.
Second.
We have a motion to approve for the amount of $114.64 by Counselor Moreno, second by Counselor Russo. Rick?
Chairman Rubio.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Moreno.
Yes.
3-0.
Okay, and the last of item number 2 for vehicle claims, a claim from Virginia Sandian in the amount of $586.70 for a pothole. My motion is to take up the claim.
Have a whole lot of potholes. You were busy, Chris.
Yes. The same thing, we were dispatched out, that night from the police. There was a pothole right in front of, House of Pizza, Cumberland Farms on Division Street. We put temporary, coal patch in, and then, since then, we did a permanent patch with hot patch once the plant was open.
Any questions?
I'm gonna make a motion to approve, but just a quick question, instead of a police report, but there was no police report provided. I still think it's a viable claim, obviously, you see all the data there. It's
Yeah.
kind of odd that we didn't get that when it referenced it, so just a little housekeeping thing on that, that's all. You know, usually we get that, if it refers to a police, you know, we probably.
Yeah,
usually get it.
absolutely.
So at this point, I would like to make a motion to approve the claim of Virginia Sandian in the maximum amount allowed of $300 for this claim.
Motion is to approve for the amount of $300. Motion by Counselor Arujo, second by Counselor Moreno to approve. Rick, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, I will. Chairman Rubio.
Yes,
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Moreno.
Yes.
3-0.
this meeting is adjourned.
Hey, Rick, the Sanchez matter, 3 Bay Street, I didn't get the apartment number, I just want to make
I
sure.
think they said 14.
I wrote it down, 14.
14.
I mean, I did write it
He
down.
did say 3 as opposed to 4.
This is all.
Yes.
Yes, that's what he said.
It's a, no, there's a green button on there.
Yes, it's a 3 Saunders Street, apartment number 14.
Just want to make sure we send the release to.
Yes.
Address.
Yes.
He already did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just.
I was
I see that one person is currently waiting online at the moment, and if you can just press the raise hand button if you were looking to speak at public input at this time.
our new home for some period of time here upstairs on the second floor, and then for another period of time downstairs, a longer period of time until we decide what we're going to do with the chamber situation and the city hall office situation. So I welcome you all here tonight for our first city council meeting here. The first item on our agenda tonight is welcoming the appointment of Monica Contreras to the Board of Canvassers. Monica, are you here tonight? Could you step forward, please? Yes. Right in the spotlight. You can pull it down if you'd like to. So we'd like to thank you for your willingness to serve. The mayor has appointed you to the Board of Canvassers. It's a very important job, a very tough job. And we really do appreciate you stepping forward and willing to serve. Would you like to just tell us a little bit about yourself and what spurred your interest in the Board of Canvassers?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you. What has brought me here to the Board of Canvassers as an alternate is that I really care about this city, and I know that not that many people are involved. So I figured to be an alternate and to currently shadow Bob would be a good way to get my foot in and help this city out a bit more.
Perfect. What do you do? Are you a Pawtucket native or?
Yes, I've been here since 2012.
Okay, great. Great. What do you do for a day job?
I work at the Navy.
Down on the base in Newport?
Yes.
Oh, good for you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for your service there too. Anybody have any questions for our appointee? Well, we just wanted to welcome you down, give you the opportunity to meet us to meet you. And your appointment is not until later on. We go through the Board of License Commissioners, and then we go through the city council agenda. So you are welcome to stay and see how we do things, but it could be probably an hour or so longer. You don't need to stay here. I can guarantee you, you have my vote, and I'm sure everybody else's vote. So I'll leave it up.
Thank you.
I'll leave it up to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much.
Thank you.
Now, we have somebody who doesn't need an introduction. Elizabeth Marrera, the new Deputy Director of Administration. Welcome, Elizabeth. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
You bring a lot of experience to the job, and I think we each know you fairly well. Some better than others, right? But well enough to know that you've got what it takes to do the job, and we appreciate you stepping forward. We appreciate the mayor seeing the value you would add to his office as the deputy director. We won't always see eye to eye. You know, you and I have already had that conversation, but if you want to give us a little bit of a background, and the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Honorable Council President and Honorable Council members. I'm back. For those of you who don't know, I worked for the city in 2020 to 2022. I led the COVID response for the city of Pawtucket. We're still nationally recognized for the work that we did here locally in one of the densest populations and hardest hit populations during the pandemic. So my position was grant funded. So when that sunset, I always told Mayor Grebian if something came up, I love working for the city. I live in the city. And I think one thing we all have in common is that we want better for our city. So something came up, and I took the charge to come and work in the administration. It's been already a roller coaster, so much fun, never a dull moment. So like Councilor Mercer said, I know that it's a dance, it's a give and take, where we all have our ways of getting about things, but my number one priority is to be a liaison and to listen and to understand everyone's perspective and to work together. So I'm happy to be back, and you can reach out to me, and I'll answer, and I'll do what I can to support us all and overall the city of Pawtucket.
Okay, well, the best thing you said was do better for Pawtucket. That's what we're here for too. So that's you have our pledge that we will do what we think is better or best for Pawtucket, and we look forward to working with you. Anybody have any questions or comments?
I was just
Councilman Ray.
impressed that you called it fun, so that's good to hear.
Yes,
I've never heard that description before from you.
I'm a little crazy.
Council Ruja, then Council Rubio.
Yes, I just want to thank you for the service you provided during the COVID time of 20 to 22. You did a tremendous job. So very much looking forward to working with you. So thank you for taking on this position and looking forward to doing better for Pawtucket as a whole. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I just want to say, thank you for your service. And I think the best thing you said was a liaison. And I think that working together is what works, right? So thank you.
Awesome.
Welcome on board.
I gotta get this mic away from me. I hate roller
We think so
coasters,
too.
and I'd much prefer we go for a boat ride, nice and smooth. Let's stay that way. You've impressed me ever since you took the job. You impressed me back in 2020. I always knew you were going to do good things here in Pawtucket, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. And Councilor Codier, I'm actually moving to your district, so lucky you.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth, and we look forward to the working relationship.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Okay, we are past 6:45, so we are now on to public input. We have two individuals signed up in person. Is there anyone online? Okay, so we just have two. The first is Zachary Russell from 214 Beveridge Hill Avenue. Mr. Russell?
What's going on, everyone? How are you?
Good morning, afternoon, evening,
Afternoon.
whatever it happens to be.
So I basically got on the board to the Heritage Alliance Pawtucket. So I've been trying to do some advocacy efforts in the city about preservation. I figured it was necessary to come to the first meeting, city council meeting that isn't in actually City Hall. Now, so first I want to say on around February 3rd, the Heritage Alliance, we hosted a public forum. It was basically just for anyone to come and have constructive talks about the city's historic resources or what's left of them and how to promote that. And about 37 people came to that talk, which is really nice. And we drafted a little, write-up about some of the discussions we had. So the first thing that we ended up talking about is, well, the first heading, let's say, is Pawtucket's identity is not disposable and preserving its city hall should not be negotiable. And obviously going to City Hall was one of the biggest concerns during that forum. And one of the things that was talked about is that when a City Hall is allowed to disintegrate, so that diminishes the morale of the city residents and portrays to visitors the city does not value its own identity. The City Hall is downtown for a reason, and permanently moving city offices to this Freight Street building will severely displace the figurative heart of the city of Pawtucket. And one of the other things was talked about was Downs Construction, who's the city's construction company. And there was a lot of confusion in the community about the relationship between Downs Construction and the city's administration. Only Downs has been asked to give an estimate of the costs for restoring City Hall. And the community is curious to know why only one source has been consulted. And speaking about the expenses of City Hall, as we know, it costs a lot of money to get the place back up in order. There were three basically ideas on cost estimates. The first one was removing the City Hall tower. It's about $6 million. Demolition of the entire building, around 10 million. And its renovation around 92 million, which is a lot more. Options 1 and 2 will be 100% paid for with tax dollars. And option 3 will, of course, most likely be paid with the majority of tax dollars, depending on what grant funding could be obtained. But it, would be a nice sentiment to say that grant money will cover or would possibly be able to cover some of the costs, whatever it may be. And also, too, if the city chooses to build a new city hall or public safety complex here or somewhere else in the city, how much will that building cost and who will pay for that? and at the end of the day, what will happen to City Hall building on Roosevelt Avenue. Now, let me see. Another thing to talk about is about the grant writer. City has consulted only one grant writer chosen by the mayor's office, and the community wants to know that the city, well, the community is concerned that basically decisions are being formed in a vacuum, and possibly as a way to consult some other resources or experts. I know you guys have the Masonry Institute coming out, so that'd be nice to hear to see what they can say about the building. Another thing is truth and transparency builds the community's trust in the city's administration. One of the biggest things during the public forum is that the city's failure to have public meetings and to seriously consider public opinions has made the public cynical and suspicious about how the city is making decisions, especially with regards to its historic buildings, most notably McCoy Stadium, City Hall, the Apex Complex, and Power Plant number 1. And there's also now an impression that the directness of City Hall's condition was emphasized at a particular time to justify the city's purchase of this building. And another thing that was talked about is that the mayor has already stated that he does not see spending money to repair City Hall. City Hall and other buildings contribute to Pawtucket's sense of place. Most attendees agree that a new high school is a positive thing for the city, and there were also quite a few strong comments about preserving McCoy Stadium. And also, McCoy Stadium itself is a building that's not really valuable for its design, but it's mostly for its function, and it was integral to Pawtucket's identity, much like City Hall itself. And also another thing that was talked about is perhaps some aspects of the stadium's history will be preserved in the new school design. And there was also a lot of concern about what will also happen with Shane Tolman High School. And I know you guys have heard about all this a lot. But it's just a few things we talked about. And another thing that we like to talk about too at the Heritage Alliance is that preservationists are not obstructionists. Much we like to stand up here and root for as much preservation as we can get. But we aren't necessarily opposed to, let's say, a soccer stadium or new development pursuits. It is necessary, but the question is it necessary, though, to sacrifice so much of the city's historical identity along that path? Many studies show that a city that nurtures and preserves its sense of place increases the quality of life for current residents and is better able to attract new residents as well. Pawtucket's administration was said during the committee that seems often to be short-sighted in that regard.
Mr. Russell, can I just ask you to wrap it up,
Yeah, I'm
please?
trying, yeah. So what exactly is the mayor's vision for the city? What kind of place does he want Pawtucket to be? What kind of place do all of you want Pawtucket to be? And does that align with what residents really want?
Thank you, Mr. Russell. I'll answer one of your questions. I know Councilor Rougeau's committee has been working very hard on this. They are in the process of getting another quote or another review other than down. So we are doing all of our due diligence under the guidance of Chairman Rougeau. So
great. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Oh, one more last thing. I do have copies of our report too. I can give this.
Sure, you can leave that with the clerk's office. The second and final individual signed up for public input is Lester Olson from 160 Hughes Avenue. Mr. Olson. How are you, Mr. Olson?
Yes, good evening. Isn't it customary to start the meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance?
We haven't started the meeting yet. This is pre-council.
All right.
We will indeed be starting it with the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes, sir.
I'm here to speak on behalf of the two nominees for the Board of Canvassers that I was proud to nominate, and I'm glad that the mayor has put forward to you for approval. Bob Castle served on the Board of Canvassers for a number of years, and his experience and knowledge of the workings of the board, I think, are unmatched by anybody that's ever served in that position. Ken McGill, the registrar of voters, says that Bob and the two Democratic members work as a team. And they do a very good job of helping him to run elections in this city. And I'm proud to have nominated him for reappointment to that position. Monica Contreras is fairly new to me and the Republican Party in Pawtucket, and has brought already in her short time that she has worked with us a great deal of skill and expertise that I think in the long run will be very valuable to the Board of Canvassers. What's more, her enthusiasm to serve the city in this position, having already attended meetings even before I sent a letter to the mayor, blow me away. And I'm sure that her appointment as the alternate member will be good for the Board of Canvassers in the long run and good for the city. And I would appreciate very much that you would all support their nomination. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's it still, Dante, yes? Okay. We now are on to the Board of License Commissioners. Clerk will call the roll. Here.
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 Mr. President, I call for approval of the previous minutes from March 19th, 2025.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Ruzo, second by Councilor Wildenhain, that approval be given to the minutes of the March 19th, 2025 meeting as prepared by the clerk. Are there any amendments, concerns, adjustments, deletions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I call for approval of item number 2, the consent agenda, and item number 3, petition for licenses, starting with a petition of Aloha Restaurant Lounge for a license to have a brunch at 904 Main Street, all the way to the last page, which is a victualling house, first class, new A1 Asil Mini Mart on 130 Broad Street. Motion is to approve.
Moved by Councilor Ruzo, second by Councilor Moreno, that approval be given to items 2 and 3, the consent agenda and petitions for license. The petitions start with a petition of Aloha Restaurant Lounge for a license to have a brunch on April 26th through the next 4.5 pages to the bottom, victualling house, first class, new annuities house, JP Kitchen. Any discussion on the motion? Counselor.
In regards to the first one, the petition for Aloha Restaurant Lounge, is the petitioner here?
Is the petitioner from Aloha Restaurant here? Is that you, sir? If you could come forward to the podium, but first just give your name and address to the clerk, please. Home address, that is.
Good afternoon. Adelino Lopez, 27 Whitman Street, Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
You said Whitman, right?
Yes, Whitman.
Councilor Gregor.
How you doing, Mr. Lopez? I just wanted to ask you a few questions in regards to this license, only because the past issues with some of the events you have coordinated before. So I just want to, so it says here 200 people you're expecting?
No, I put on and down because I have supposed to bring the DJ, but the DJ didn't come in anymore.
So how many people are you expecting?
No, I'm gonna use just my, like, where I have my license, maybe 60, because I'm gonna put on the brunch outside. That's all.
You're still gonna have a DJ of music?
No.
No
I have a
music.
music, but not DJ, because before you're supposed to be like a stage with the DJ, but right now it's just the sound, ambient sound.
Okay, so again, you know, as before, the music is for your patrons.
Yes.
Okay. And it's from 3 p.m. to 9:30, is that correct?
Yes.
I see here that you got the approval from, looks like the other 3 businesses on that plaza, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for this applicant? Okay, you can have a seat, sir. Thank you.
All right.
So I'm gonna ask for approval unless you have a concern with that one particular item. Okay, in that case, all in favor of approving items 2 and 3 as listed? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
No further business coming before the Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners. I move that we adjourn and reconvene as the Pawtucket City Council.
Been moved by Council Ruja, second by Council Moreno, that we adjourn the Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners and convene as Pawtucket City Council. Before we do, I ask that everyone stand and join us in the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance, started by Councilor Wildenhain.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pawtucket City Council come to order. Clerk will call the roll. Here.
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 Council Rubio.
Here.
Kubiak.
Here.
Council Wildenhain.
Here.
9-0, 9 in attendance.
Mr. President, I call for approval of the previous minutes of March 19th, 2025 of the City Property Committee and the City Council, as well as March 27th, 2025 of the Ordinance Committee and the City Council.
Second.
Been moved by Councilor Ruja, second by Councilor Wildenhain, that approval be given to the minutes of the March 19th, 2025 meeting of the City Property Committee and the City Council, as well as the March 27th meeting of the Ordinance Committee and the City Council, all as prepared by the clerk. Are there any concerns, amendments, deletions, discussion items? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to call for approval of the consent agenda and correspondence.
Been moved by Councilor Ruja, second by Councilor Moreno, that approval be given to item 2, the consent agenda and correspondence. Are there any items the members would like to address individually? I'll start on my left. Councilor? And, or is that it? Okay. Anybody on my right? Okay, that, in that case, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Counselor, item G.
Item G, Pawtucket Redevelopment Agency Annual Audit for the year ending June 30th, 2024. I read the report and I'm still totally not clear as to how does the Pawtucket Development Agency actually coexist with the city, and where does it stop? What does the city goes regarding that? And so I don't know if we could get someone from the consultant to come here and kind of explain this to us a little more.
I don't know that that would answer your questions, that the synergy between the city and the PRA is set in ordinance.
No, I
This
understand that.
This is their audit for the year. Do you have a concern about the audit itself?
I do. It would help to have someone from the audit come down, just sort of kind of go over these figures.
I don't know that we could do that because I know that the auditor is a paid entity, right? So I don't know if that's part of, we can ask. I just can't guarantee that the auditor will come down here unless they're paid. You follow me? They've completed, in all likelihood, completed their service to the city under their contract to do the audit. So I just don't know that we can have them. Do you have a financial question about the audit, or do you have a entity question about the PRA? I guess that's the question.
It's both. So, I mean, because what I'm seeing here is that the PRA appears to acquire every public, or just about most available public assets that come, and then they are the ones making the decision as to how that's going to be disposed of or developed, and I don't feel like the people have any say into any of that. And I'm just trying to get exactly.
Well, the auditor is not going to be able to answer any of those questions.
Yeah,
The
no, I
auditor,
understand that.
so I mean, I would suggest this. If you have some specific questions that you'd like to have answered, perhaps if you put them together, right? And we would send them either, if you had them to articulate right now, or if you wanted to wait till the next agenda. And then I think the first starting point is the solicitor's office. You know, how the PRA functions relative to the city as a whole. And that might answer your questions, or it might inform or develop more questions for you to ask. But I don't think the auditor is going to be, the auditor is a dollars and cents person, is not going to be able to tell you what the board believes or what the board's goals are or visions are. So I just don't think we're going to get to where you want to go by talking to the auditor. Happy to have all your questions answered, but I just think we got to pick a better pathway to get them.
No, I understand, and I appreciate it. It just seems like some of the city finances here sort of intertwine with what the PRA is doing, and it's not entirely clear to me. But I'll take your advice, and I'll put something together in terms of.
All right, I assure you, if you put it together and present it to me at the clerk's office, we'll put it on the next agenda.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There was nobody else, correct? We are on to item 3 through 7, I believe, Councilor Rubio.
Yes, Mr. President, if I may take items 3 through 7.
Yes, please.
Items 3 to 7 are communications from Christopher Montalo, Supervisor Distribution Design from Rhode Island Energy, to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following requests, all to be approved pending approval of the Director of Public Works. 4 new pole installations for AMF Radio Network on Norton Street, Monticello Street, Carter Avenue, and Magnolia Street, as well as a request for a new stub pole installation at Armistice Boulevard. I move passage of all 5 items.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilor Rubio, seconded by Councilor Rougeau, that we approve items 3 through 7, which are communications from Christopher Montalto, Supervisor, Distribution Design, Rhode Island Energy, to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council, submitting the following requests, all of which to be approved pending the approval of the Director of Public Works. They are 4 new pole installations for AMF Radio Network on Norton Street, Monticello Road, Carter Avenue, and Magnolia Street, as well as a request for a new stub pole installation at Armistice Boulevard. Rick, is this roll call or? So the motion is to approve all 5 items. Is there any discussion on any of these? In that case, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Counselor.
Number 8, communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following appointment as an alternate member, Republican of the Board of Canvassers for confirmation. Monica Contreras, 5 Stern Street, number 2, in Pawtucket. Term expires the first Monday in January of 2029. Motion is to approve on a roll call vote.
It's been moved by Councilor Moran, second by Councilor Kudir, that a communication from Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following appointment as an alternate member, Republican, of the Board of Canvassers. Monica T. Contreras, 5 Stern Street, Apartment 2, Pawtucket, for a term that expires the first Monday in January of 2029. And the motion is for confirmation on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion? I'll just say, Ms. Contreras, you couldn't have a better person in your corner than Mr. Olson. He certainly thinks the world of you. So I will be voting yes for confirmation. Anybody else? In that case, clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Councilor Rougeau.
Yes.
Councilor Coder.
Yes.
Councilor Gregor.
Yes.
Councilor Moran.
Yes.
Councilor Moreno. Councilor Rubio.
Yes.
Councilor Kubiak.
Yes.
Councilor Wildenhain.
Yes.
9-0.
Number 9, communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following reappointment as a member, Republican of the Board of Canvassers for confirmation. Robert W. Castle, 191 Clue Street in Pawtucket. Term expires the first Monday in March of 2031. Motion is to approve on a roll call vote.
Been moved by Counselor Moran, second by Counselor Stakoviak. We haven't heard from you tonight. The communication from his honor, Mayor Donald Grebian. The honorable members of Pawtucket City Council submitting the following reappointment as a member for the Republican Party of the Board of Canvassers, Robert W. Castle, 191 Clue Street, for a term that expires the first Monday in March of 2031. The motion is for a confirmation on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, clerk will call a roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno.
Yes.
Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Kubiak.
Yes.
Council Wildenhain.
Yes.
9-0.
Item number 10 is a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald Gravian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Riverfront Commission for Confirmation Riverfront Commission, James Hoyt, 1 Muller Place, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 02860. Term expires the first Monday in June 2028. I call for approval on a roll call vote.
Second.
Been moved by Counselor Codere, second by both Counselor Moran and Counselor Ruzo. That a communication from his honor, Mayor Donald R. Grebian, to the honorable members of Pawtucket City Council submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Riverfront Commission, James Hoyt, 1 Moeller Place, for a term that expires the first Monday in June of 2028. Again, the motion is for a roll call vote for confirmation. Is there any discussion? In that case, the clerk will call a roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno.
Yes.
Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Kubiak.
Yes.
Council Wildenhain.
Yes.
9-0.
Number 11 is a resolution in support of the legislation to amend the Pawtucket tax classification system by creating a 5th tax class for the non-owner occupied residential property of 5 units or less. Call for approval on a roll call vote. Second.
Been moved by Counselor Wildenhain, second by Counselor Moran, that a resolution in support of legislation to amend the Pawtucket tax classification system by creating a 5th tax class for non-owner occupied residential properties of 5 units or less. The motion is for approval of the resolution. For any discussion? I'll just weigh in here quickly. This is a resolution supporting what's called enabling legislation to allow the city to go forward with this 5th classification. It can't happen unless the legislation passes. Legislation won't pass unless we support it as a body. Doesn't mean this is what's going to happen in the upcoming the upcoming budget season. But in my opinion, it gives us another tool that we can use if the mayor's office does decide in building its budget to utilize that tool. So I will be voting yes in support of the resolution for that simple fact that this is starting the ball rolling. And if we want to do this, we cannot do it without the enabling legislation. So anybody else?
So this applies to absentee landlords essentially, right?
It applies to, yes, but I mean, that has a different connotation, right? It's for somebody who owns a 3, 4, or 5 family residential building that does not live in it. You know, the example I've been using is Councilor Ruzo lives in a 2-family that he owns and he lives in. This would not affect him.
So he's not exempted.
He'll
not neither.
He'll still be paying his. That's right, Council. You own a multifamily that you do not reside in. So this would, if this tool were utilized in building the budget, you would be in that 5th category.
Correct.
Correct?
But holistically, I think it's the right thing to do, especially for the absent landlords.
Okay, thank you. In that case, clerk will call a roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Kubiak.
Yes.
Council Wildenhain.
Yes.
9-0.
Number 12, an ordinance repealing repealing Article 10 of Chapter 50 and amending Article 6 of Chapter 63 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, regarding the sealer of weights and measures for second passage. Motion to approve on a roll call vote.
Second.
So moved by Counselor Moran, second by Counselor Codier, that an ordinance repealing Article 10 of Chapter 50 of the amending Article 6 of Chapter 63 of the Code of Ordinance, the City of Pawtucket, 1996, regarding the sealer of weights and measures. This is second passage on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno.
Yes.
Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Kubiak.
Yes.
Council Wildenhain.
Yes.
9-0.
Number 13, an ordinance and amendment of Chapter 388 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, entitled Vehicles and Traffic. Tidewater Stadium Zone Parking is amended for second passage. Motion to approve on a roll call vote.
Second.
The move by Council Moran, second by Councilor Codier, that an ordinance and an amendment of Chapter 380 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, entitled Vehicle and Traffic for the Tidewater Stadium Zone Parking as amended. This is second passage on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
That was the
Is
first.
that okay?
I will, Mr. President. I'll
Thank you,
try.
Mr.
He
President.
seems quicker now.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Yes,
Council
please.
Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Kubiak.
Yes.
Council Wildenhain.
See what a little kindness gets you?
Am I supposed to say yes, please in the vote or?
No, you're only supposed to say, please
Yeah.
take the vote.
Yeah, don't.
They don't have to.
Thank you, Mr.
Just-
Clerk.
Yes, please is crossing the line. Don't even.
I won't know what to do if you say please too many times.
Council Rubio.
Glad I set the bar high
You see
enough.
how he's rubbing his head already? Like.
Well, that's a different story.
Item number 14, the Committee on Claims and Pending Suits returns the following claims for damages against the city. I will take up the denials first. Dominguez Bates for $578.76 for vehicle damage will be denied and referred to standard towing. And Vicencia, can you help me there?
Cuccinata.
Cucciana. Cucciana.
For a pothole of 101.48 will be denied and referred to Rhode Island Energy as well. I
Second.
move to deny
And refer.
and refer.
It's been moved by Councilor Rubio, second by Councilor Moreno, that we deny the claim of Dominguez Bates for $578.76 for vehicle damage and refer it to Sterry Street Towing. And also.
Standard tone.
Standard towing, yes.
I'm sorry, Standard Towing, I did write that down. And deny the claim of Vincenza Cuccinata for $101.48 for a pothole and refer that to Rhode Island Energy. Any discussion on the denial and referring? Clerk will call the roll?
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno.
Yes.
Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Kubiak.
Yes.
Council Wildenhain.
Yes.
9-0.
And for approval, Mariara Cardozo Duarte approved for $300 for a pothole. Elizabeth Cox for $222.97 for a pothole. Kenneth McGill approved for $114.64 for a pothole. And Savith Sanchez approved for $300 for a pothole. Virginia Sindian approved for $300 for a pothole. Motion is to approve.
Second.
Been moved by Councilor Rubio, second by Councilor Rujo and Councilor Moreno, that approval be given to the following claims. Herrera Cardozo Duarte in the amount of $300 for a pothole. Elizabeth Cox in the amount of $227.97 for a pothole. Kenneth McGill in the amount of $114.64 for a pothole. And Sabbath Sanchez for $300 for a pothole, and Virginia Sendian for $300 for a pothole. Is there any discussion on the approval of those claims as articulated? Clerk, please call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Scoviac.
Yes.
Council Wildenhain.
Yes.
9-0.
No further business coming before the Pawtucket City Council. I make a motion that we adjourn.
It's been moved by Counselor Arusa, second by Counselor Stokoviec, that we adjourn tonight's first inaugural meeting here at Freight Street. Any discussion on adjourning? In that case, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.